What's going on, guys? It's Professor Gnome, and today we're going to be taking a look at Arbox EX with its Menacing Fang attack. So for 3 energies, it does 150 damage, and what it allows you to do is discard 2 cards from your opponent's hand. Now, your opponent does get to pick the 2 cards, but what our goal here is to make it so it doesn't matter what they choose, because what we're looking to do is hit them with an Unfair Stamp, bring them down to 2 cards, attack, and force them to discard their last 2 remaining cards. This combo is actually extremely toxic, and it's kind of what makes this deck playable, since what ends up happening most of the time is that you get a little bit behind in the early game, but once you're able to set up and with 1 Arbok, maybe 2, and you can Unfair Stamp, then the game completely shifts into your favor. And so the way that we're going to look to abuse that is we also use things like Grabber in order to get important key cards out of the hand before we Arbok, or also in the early game just to set ourselves up. We also are utilizing Darkrai VSTAR, since it has the Star Abyss Star Power ability, where what we can do is we can take 2 item cards out of our discard pile and put them back in our hand. So what we can do is if we Unfair Stamp, put them down to 0. If they're ever able to build a new hand or do anything, we can grab the Unfair Stamp back out, use it a second time, and just keep punishing them that way. And then also on top of that, we do run 1 copy of Roxanne, just to make sure that we're able to do this as consistently as possible, always setting them down to 2 cards in hand and just looping that over and over again. The other things that we play to kind of help us out are things like Iono, to do a very similar concept as the game goes on. We can continue to lower their hands. We play Squawkabilly in order to accelerate our game state and speed up our opening hand. Since we are a little bit slow, we want to get set up as much as possible. I do run a 1-1 barrel line just to kind of give us a little bit of draw power. We don't need it on board, but it is nice to have, so I like the 1-1 line, just feels a little nice. We also run the Dark Patches to accelerate our energy. We're playing Dark types, so there's really no reason not to play it. And lastly, we would play a copy of Boss. The main reason for the Boss is A, it's always nice to have one, but also B, what ends up happening every so often is that you'll get into a game where you want to Unfair Stamp, but they have a Bibarel of their own or something similar, and so it's nice to be able to just boss it up, knock it out, and remove your opponent's draw engine and make it for pretty easy games. We also run 2 Rigid Bands. You could cut these if you want. I like having them. It just makes Arbok a little bit tankier, but you could always cut them if you want to put in space for something else. We also run the Temple of Sinnoh in order to just be a little bit more disruptive to our opponent. Something like the Lugia matchup it's always pretty useful. So yeah, that's definitely the list, guys. Definitely let me know what you think. There's a lot of different builds for this going out and going around, so be sure to let me know what you think and how you would change it or any other ways that you're playing it. Be sure to join the community Discord down below as well. Also, the deck list is always in the description for anybody ever wondering, but as well in the description we have the community Discord and the link to the community Discord tournament that's coming up on Saturday, so tomorrow, I think? Is today the 30th? 31st? I think it's the 31st. I don't remember. Anyway, is on Saturday, June 1st at 6:30 p.m. EST, our community Discord first tournament will be happening. The prizes are 15 Twilight Masquerade pack codes for the winner and 10 for second place, so be sure to come and check it out. It's a fun little tournament. We're hoping to do them bi-weekly, so be sure to join the Discord as well. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you like the video, all that kind of stuff. Be sure to let me know what you want to see next on the channel and what decks you want featured, and I will see you guys in game 1 in a moment. Peace. Alright, we're in a game number 1, and our opponent's going to be going first. We open Greninja, Bidoof, and Barrel. Definitely don't want to have to research, only because I would love to keep a barrel on board here, so if we have to hold out on that for a turn, that just is what it is. We'll see what we're up against. We see the Ogre Pawn. They go Teal Dance. Get themselves into 1. There's a Bug Catcher set. For 2 more energy, which is nice. We don't see more Ogre Pawn. Alright, they don't get much off the turn. There's a second research, so we'll go ahead and grab ourselves double Ekans. We will concealed cards here. Getting ourselves 1 more energy. We'll go ahead and place that down onto the Ekans. and we'll pass our turn. Because like I said, I really don't want to have to give up the Bibarel if I don't have to. So we're going to play one turn slower. Our opponent doesn't have much going on anyway, so I'm not too worried. There's a second Bug Catcher set. They missed that one too. That's pretty lucky for us, honestly. There's another energy that will knock out our Greninja, get themselves another prize. I'm very curious to know what their hand is. We'll lead Ekans. There's another Buddy Poffin, which is nice. That will get us another Ekans. We don't need the other one. For right now, we can place Bibarel down, and we can go ahead and research. We do have the ability to go Earthen Vessel here, remove one energy, get ourselves two more. Gonna just fill up our hand a little bit. We'll go Grabber here. I don't think there's anything in their hand. Oh, there is one Ogerpon. I'm curious why they haven't played it. So they have a whole bunch of energy in hand, but not much else. We will shuffle the Ogerpon to the bottom of the deck. Or not shuffle, but place it down at the bottom of the deck, rather. We can go energy onto the Ekans. We'll place one more down, and then what we can do is Ultra Ball the other two away. Grab ourselves the Arbok. And if we hit a switch here off the Bibarel, that would be pretty huge. We don't have the switch, but we do get Darkrai, which is nice, and we also get a Dark Patch in order to power up our next Ekans. So, not all bad. We can go ahead and pass our turn here. And we have a Darkrai and as well as our Bibarel Draw Engine for next turn. What's actually kind of nice here is that if they choose to use Ogerpon to KO our Ekans, we're not actually in that bad of a state, since what we'll be able to do is potentially get our Unfair Stamp, which would be kind of nice. Obviously, them stacking up all their energies is going to make it so it's not super reliable to reset their hand over and over, since as long as they have energies on board, it won't make as big of a difference when it comes to them being able to attack. But as of right now, they still won't have like grass energies, or not grass. They won't have the electric energies in order to utilize their Ogerpon. And we'll be able, it's not going to be able to KO us. Even better after the Rigid Band. So we can go place this down. We can Ekans. We will Buddy Poffin here. We will fail the Buddy Poffin just to get cards out of our hand. We can go ahead and Bibarel here. That gets us a new Arbok, which is okay, not anything fantastic. We can go Grabber, see what's in our opponent's hand. It is a switch. There is the electric energy, Earthen Vessel, and a Buddy Poffin. So ideally we'd like to be able to reshuffle our opponent's hand, but that's just not really an option for us right now. There's not much we can do about it, other than we'll use the Nest Ball to get that out of our hand as well. And then what we'll do is Menacing Fangs here. We'll get them to discard 2. I assume they'll go like Switch Cart and Pal Pad. Or they go Earthen Vessel and Pal Pad. Or Switch Cart. Which means they do have the electric energy in hand. They can Pal Pad to put both Vitalities back in the deck. So we know they have an electric energy. They place that down manually. They are going to retreat and drop a whole lot to go into Arbok. Top deck another Raging Bolt. They do drop a lot of energy to be able to do that. So what we'll do is that we'll put Darkrai in the active for right now. We get an Iono off our top deck. What we can do here is Iono. Get ourselves 6 cards. They'll stay at 2 cards, so it doesn't really matter. We get the ability to Dark Pulse here. We can place the Rigid Band down. Place 1 more energy. We'll go ahead and Ultra Ball the other 2 away. Grab ourselves 1 more Arbok. That'll empty our hand. And we draw up. We're really just looking for a switch, which we are able to find, and that's pretty big for us. So we can go switch here. Go into Arbok. We will be able to get the attack off. Is there anything we need with Darkrai? Not really. So we can Menacing Fangs here. It is a 2-hit KO regardless. We do get rid of 2 cards. So if they get nothing off the draw here, there's nothing they can really do to us. So it all comes down to this draw. They get concealed cards for 1. They do get themselves an energy. They are able to draw 2. They do have to Burst Roar. That's ginormous. So this game's like pretty much over. Because we have the Ionos. We have everything else that we're looking for. What we can go ahead and do now is we can Iono here. That'll reset them down to 2. We can place the energy down onto the Arbok, just in case that comes up later. We can Menacing Fangs here. Take the knockout. And get rid of the top 2 cards. We go 2 prizes. We get a Dark Patch. So we can even retreat out this Arbok if it gets damaged. There's a Sandy Shocks. Again, that doesn't really do anything for them. They get 1 energy on board. If we get the boss's orders, obviously that's nice for us, but we don't really need it. We can go Dark Patch here as well. And we will go Menacing Fangs. They will get to draw 1 card. It's just another Ogre Pawn. So they can go Magnetic Absorption again if they wish. But that will pull the last fighting energy out of their deck, which means they won't be able to attack with the last Raging Bolt. They choose not to. Potentially a better play, what they could have done as like a quote-unquote safer play is that they could have gone Magnetic Absorption, put it onto this, and then hope for 1 more energy, attacked into Arbok because of like weakness, and gone for the KO that way. They are going to bring Sandy Shocks in. They concealed cards 1 energy away. I'm confused why they did that. So they Iono for 2 more. Bug Catcher set. They do get 2 energy. Because they have the option of Magnetic Absorption. They could KO it here, right? Am I wrong? Because they can magnetic for the last fighting. Why are they not? I don't understand. Why did they manually attach there? They could have magnetic absorption, attached the energy, and won the game. Alright, well. I guess they just didn't realize that they hit for weakness. Because they don't know, like, what... I guess they don't know that Arbok is weak to fighting. Maybe? Well, we'll take it as game one. Weird game there where, like... They definitely could have won that. But they didn't, so it is what it is. But, yeah, we can't control that our opponent doesn't look at cards or read weakness. I guess because Arbok's like really not meta, you wouldn't know off the top of your head, since most dark types are randomly weak to grass or something. But yeah, that's gonna be game number one. Definitely a weird and long one. We may only do 2 for this video. We'll see how long the next games are. But I will see you guys in game 2 in a moment. Peace. Alright, we're into game number 2, and our opponent's gonna be going first. They won the coin flip. We open Manaphy and Buddy Poffin. We also open Research, which is not too bad. We are up against Raging Bolt again, which I guess makes sense. It's super common on the ladder. They go Earthen Vessel. We'll see what they decide to get. Fighting in an Electric Energy. Bravery Charm. Bravery Charm doesn't really matter because it's 2-hit KO for us no matter what. They go Electric Energy. And not much else. So, decent for us. We can go... We'll go 1 and 1 here. Check to see if there's anything important that is prized. It does not appear so. We will go ahead, place the energy down, and then research. Not our strongest opening we could have ever had. We'll go Nest Ball here. We'll go Squawkabilly. We will Ultra Ball away both researches, because we already know that we're about to discard everything in order to grab ourselves the Darkrai. So that way that's set up for later. We can go Darkrai here, and then we will go and Squawk. Get ourselves a couple more pieces, not anything too big a deal. But we do... Alright, so it's not the worst ever, because we do get ourselves Darkrai, we get ourselves the Arbok, we have 1 more energy, we can use that with Greninja. So we have relative pieces, but not anything too extraordinary. We'll see. If we're able to... If we want to make like kind of a... No, I was going to say, if we want to make like a desperate Darkrai V play, we could go grab Ultra Ball. Just so that way we can get stuff out of our hands in order to get, like, in order to, like, dig deeper. But there's really no point to that right now. For right now, we're in a position where we just kind of have to accept that Manaphy's probably going to get knocked out. And then what we'll have to do is go... We'll place Greninja in the active. Yeah, that's going to be the play. We'll go Greninja into the active. We do just naturally draw right into Bibarel. That's actually pretty good for us. So what we can do is place this down. We can go Arbok here. Then what we'll do is Nest Ball. We will fail the first Nest Ball on purpose. So that way we're able to use the next one. That allows us to grab the new Ekans. Then what we can do is manually attach. Actually, we'll concealed cards first. Let's try to sequence this the best we can. Alright, so perfect. There we go. So we get the Unfair Stamp. We can throw that down. Get ourselves a new hand. Then what we can do from here is research. We get ourselves pretty much everything that we were looking for. So we get ourselves the double Dark Patch. So that gets that. We can throw the energy down onto the Greninja. Retreat. Go Arbok. And then from here, we'll have the Ultra Ball on the following turns. We can go ahead and Menacing Fangs. Discard both of their top deck. So we'll see what they draw. Because right now, there's really nothing they can do to us. We'll see what their top deck is. They might just straight up concede. I think they're trying to think. Okay. So they go Burst Roar. That's totally fine for us. What we can do here is we can go Energy. Place that down. And then what do we want to do? I think what we do here is that we place the Temple of Sinnoh, not because it actually affects the board, but because it'll allow us to draw ourselves into a couple more cards. We do get the Dark Patch. We can prep the Arbok a little bit more. And then from here, what we can end up doing is going Iono, reshuffling them, just putting them down to 5 rather than 6, which could always be helpful, you never know. And then from here, what we can do is Menacing Fangs. That'll take them from 5 down to 3, and we get the KO, giving them less to work with. And what's nice here as well is, so we have the research stamp available. We'll get 2 prizes here. Since we can always pull it back out with Darkrai. We have energies in hand. So one of the things that we can actually end up doing, depending on what they do, is just placing energies onto Darkrai, bringing that into the active and attacking, since it will do more damage, and we're not really worried about, like, resetting their hand if we're able to just, like, close out the game by attacking. So we'll see what they're able to get into. They go Teal Mask again. Like, if we're in a scenario where we're able to get into, like, a boss's orders, pull this up, it's going to be more beneficial for us to just reset them. Or what could end up happening is they overcommit a ton of energy here in order to go into Raging Bolt again. Like, if they go Ogerpon here, let's say they Tail Dance for another energy, and they go, like, Fighting Energy, Retreat, and try to knock us out, then that all kind of just works in our favor. But as of right now, they're still, like, stuck. So we know one of their cards is Ultra Ball. We know one of their cards is a... Okay, so Earthen Vessel. That was the other card. So we know they're going to have whatever energies they decide to pick up here and an Ultra Ball. So they can go Fighting Energy, Retreat, try to knock out Arbok. Or they could bring it in the active and go Burst Roar. No, they go to knock out Arbok. The problem is that it's going to be all of their energy. And it's not enough because they would do 280, but we have the Rigid Band. So we can go energy here. There's really no point to going Grabber since we're about to discard everything. We could retreat to preserve the prize cards, but at this point it doesn't really matter. So we'll put the 150 down, we'll discard the electric energy and the Ultra Ball, and they're back into top deck mode with no energy to have accessed. So they Pokestop, they get a Nest Ball, still doesn't really help them. Obviously we don't know what their other card in hand is, but it doesn't seem super relevant. They're not going to be able to retreat. So we're looking pretty good here. We'll go Rigid Band. And now what we can end up doing is just starting to place energy onto the Darkrai. Yeah, we know that the card in hand that they have is not useful. So what we can actually do here is we don't really need the Rigid Band anymore, or the Unfair Stamp rather. Actually, alright, let's not get greedy. We'll take the Unfair Stamp, and we'll take the Dark Patch. Because, alright, so here, the greedy play that I was talking about, what we could do is just not really care what they end up getting into their hand. Going Darkrai here, attacking, knocking this out, and then just going, you know, knocking out whatever's up next with Darkrai. But the reality is, against a deck like this, theoretically speaking, they could suddenly pop off. So it's better to just have the Unfair Stamp to just keep resetting the scenario. Since, like, theoretically speaking, they could go Vitality here, put an energy down, draw themselves 3 more cards, get pieces. Yeah, so, like, just like that, right? The Pokestop allows them to get in a Nest Ball, which can get themselves another Raging Bolt. Then they can go Energy Retrieval, grab themselves either the Fighting or Electric, and a Grass Energy, use the Grass Energy to draw them into cards. So, like, this is the reason why, like, it's better to just have the Unfair Stamp, keep resetting them, and like, play the game out kind of slowly, rather than, like, messing around. Because here's the Grass Energy, they get themselves in another card, they go Bravery Charm, making it even harder to knock them out, they can go Vitality. And then the question is, do we have a boss? We should, right? Yeah. So we're pretty much fine from this point, because what we'll be able to do is we can bring Darkrai back up. We'll manually attach the energy, and we can Dark Patch, and then we'll just boss up the Ogerpon and knock it out. But it's definitely, like, this is why we didn't want to lead Darkrai. There's the counter catcher. Them pulling up Squawkabilly is actually even better for us. Okay, so they were hoping to stall a turn. But little do you know, I already have an energy, so that's going to be the game. Alright, so we'll go, yeah, we'll just attack for 270, end the game. So they had to go, they needed another turn, since they wouldn't have had enough energy on board. So, like, let's say they knocked us out. The thing that they were worried about is, like, they would have had to give up 1 energy to knock us out. They were going to need a lot more in order to knock us out again. And if they know that we already picked up the research stamp. So they know that they're, like, the chances of them getting into that energy now after they just use so many resources aren't really going to be there anymore. So there wasn't really much that they were going to be able to do. But yeah, that's going to be game number 2. That's actually going to be the last game of this set. I actually have to go and get ready for some stuff. So unfortunately, I don't have much more time to record. But definitely check out the list, guys. And it's a lot of fun. Very kind of interesting control style. And yeah, be sure to let me know what you think of the list. Be sure to join the Discord down in the description below, and also be on the lookout for the tournament coming up. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Be sure to let me know what you want to see on the next, like the next cards and decks featured, and I will get working on that as soon as possible. For now, I have to go DM a D&D session, so I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.